Hello, ineffable being. How are you doing today? Hope you're having an amazing, wonderful, loving day. I want to share with you that you are a genius, you are special, you mean the world, and you are loved. Today's topic is the telephone game. The telephone game, and how this relates to consciousness, awareness, personal growth, personal development, and our life. And to kickstart this, well, first, let me digress. Do we know what we're talking about whenever I say the telephone game? Surely this is a game that we've all played. It's very elementary. And in adult life, we learn to combine this game with alcohol and so forth. So it doesn't matter at what age. We've sure all have played it or heard it, perhaps with a different title. So it's the game where one person says something, they whisper it into the ear of the other, and we keep on going. The last person says it out loud, and we see as a team if we were able to deliver the message correctly from point A to point Z. So to get into and dive into this topic, I'd like to share with you a story, and I call it the turkey story. The story goes there was a young daughter and her boyfriend, her at the time boyfriend to be husband, they were doing their first Thanksgiving. So they're preparing their Thanksgiving dinner and they're getting onto the turkey, right? The boyfriend comes in and asks his girlfriend, "Hey, sweetie, why did you cut the end of the turkey? Why did you cut the tail of the turkey?" And the girlfriend replies, "Well, you see, sweetie, my mother always did it this way as I was growing up." So they finished, and after Thanksgiving, the daughter goes to her mother, curious now, um, because of the question from her boyfriend, and asks the mother, "Mother, why is it that you always cut the tail off the turkey, the end off the turkey?" And she was like, "Well, you see, sweetie, your grandmother always did it like this." So she was like, well, now she's determined. She doesn't have a correct answer, so now she is determined. And she goes to visit her grandmother. And she asks her grandmother, "Grandmother, why is it that you cut the end of the turkey?" And she said, "Well, you see, sweetie, whenever I was growing up, our oven was really small." Yeah, maybe anticlimactic for you, but the message is there and it's resounding that we just are so quick to pick up and do something without any critical thought. So you see, 3 generations later, they're still doing the same thing simply because the pan the grandmother had to use at the time was a certain length, not because it would better the cooking process, give it more flavor, none of this. And I find this very humoring because it's very prominent in all of our lives. Whether you grew up and you follow the same path of your parents, your family, they're Democrats or you're now a Democrat, or you take the other side, a lot of us can feel like we are making a choice, a decision, and we choose the other side. Well, have you ever thought of not having to choose a side? We all talk about, are you Catholic or Christian? Are you heterosexual? Are you homosexual? Are you Democratic or Republican? What's your favorite color? Is it white or black? Well, why do we have to stay and pick one side? That's one thing. But this story, to me, is very important, and I want to share how that reflects to awareness, consciousness, personal development. And it simply is something that I love to touch on this channel, and that's word magic. So, belief system. Well, what's the acronym here? B and S. So, BS. Well, what other times do we say these 2 letters? When we say bullshit. BS. And throughout life, especially whenever you're growing up in Western civilization, what we tend to do is pick up the belief systems of our parents, of our environment, and even unconscious replies. I work in a corporate office and still I'm training myself whenever we get on a Zoom meeting to say, oh, it's Wednesday, just middle of the week, just getting through there. Like, that's not me. It's just because I've heard it 1,100 times that I now just repeat it. Or if it's Monday, we all say, oh, it's Monday, it was hard to get out of bed today, I have my coffee. All of these things are just unconscious conditioning that we just blurt out if we're speaking, and also emotional reactions that have been hardwired into us, as well as actions. So this is very similar to this telephone game where we never stopped and thought for ourselves, like, do I actually care? Do I have to have a decision about what race or color or foods or government or religion? Now, sure, it's fine, acceptable, have your belief systems. But my message is create your belief systems genuinely. You have to sit down and write down, what are your values? Like, what do you want to live for? What is your purpose? Create the umbrella, and then beyond that, start putting in the details. Do you have to follow this Democratic Party or this Republican Party? What religion best fits your needs? What belief systems beyond these very common topics do you wish to embody? And then that way, you're going to know why you do the things you do. And the reason is because I decided it. I know you believe that right now, your current belief system, you've decided your belief system, but chances are you didn't give it much thought. You woke up 18, 19, 20, 25, so forth, you had your first awakening. You became conscious that you can be conscious. And what happened beyond that? Well, your brain just started presenting to you, hey, look, you are this way because of this event that happened to you. Or do this because it feels good. But where are we making these decisions from? Well, quite honestly, the brain is a reflection of the past. It's a map of the past. If you're not living consciously, if you're not waking up with a vision of the future, you're waking up to the same day. If you believe your thoughts are somehow connected to your destiny, and you wake up and you're not consciously sending those any signals out, and you're living the same day, you get out of bed from the same side, you go through your social media, you go downstairs, you drive to work the same way, you drive to school the same way, you see and talk to roughly about the same people, and you go back to your home, you do about the same routines. So basically, your life has not changed. Especially so that whenever we are younger, our brains are so malleable. It's like Play-Doh. We can just poke a little, you can use your pinky to mold Play-Doh. Similarly, our brain is like this. And the interesting thing is, as you grow older, it calcifies and it gets harder. And this software program becomes the hardware. And the servant becomes your master. The body is the unconscious mind. The body has reprogrammed itself, has programmed inside of itself emotional reactions, physical actions, thoughts, and beliefs. That whenever you're older, you just believe this is reality and you don't really change. Change isn't for everybody. I'm not saying that, oh, just because you never thought as a kid doesn't mean your life isn't going to be good. But simply, do you want to make decisions? Do you want to open up to a broader spectrum? And I'll tell you what, and this is the reason why I went on this personal journey, because all I wanted was to create personal pleasantness internally and externally. So in order to do this, I had to change the systems, the hardware and software that's inside of me. Why? Well, I believe I lived a little bit more tougher love than a lot of people, but sure, that doesn't make me better than you, but simply these are just facts, physical, emotional, sexual abuse. So that is recorded, and the emotional quotient of the brain, of the event, determines the neurological network that is created in the brain. So very high emotional, energetic situations create larger neural networks. So what does this mean? Well, for me personally, more so than you, I hope, I had to really be tough on myself and want to change, because if not, the thoughts that I believe are of wellness and prosperity to leading me to the future is simply the brain's mechanism to maintain what it already knows. So this is the reason why I share this story with you. Do you want to know the reason you're doing things? Do you want to create a new vision for the future? and understand that the information is there, epigenetics, the quantum field. We don't live in the Newtonian world anymore of cause and effect. Now we understand that my emotions and my thoughts of today change my tomorrow. So I invite you to jump into yourself, and what is capable, what is potential, is always and for always will be. And I invite you to dive into your greatest self. I invite you now to share this video with your loved ones, with your family member, on your social media accounts. Give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. And also comment below what topics you'd like for me to cover in the future. I hope to see you in the side of light. Goodbye.